sharpened by skill. From the darkness into the light for honor and glory. It's not given, it's earned. Only the chosen ones get the chance. Through flames and sweat to achieve the ring.
And now hit it.
Ooh, come on now, shake your money maker. I said now shake your money maker. Come on now, shake your money maker. I said now shake.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship here in Hamburg, Germany, 2017, as we're bringing our first two athletes out onto the stage here in the harbor city of Hamburg. On your left-hand side of the screen, in the striped jersey, you'll see George Williams from Canada sporting the Enforcer facial hair. I like it. I like it a lot, eh? And on the other side, Yannick Lindner from Germany. And these two will go head-to-head in the discipline stock saw. We have 4 heats to start this competition off. Each of them stock saw accumulated time and points towards the end to crown a junior world champion. Also out there on stage with our athletes, we have head judge Andy Hall and Jörg Kurzenberger. Stock saw, the chainsaw that you see right there lying at the feet of Yannick Lindner, is an off-the-shelf saw that you can buy at any STIHL dealership anywhere in the world. No modifications have been made.
Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saw.
Now, what this does here is allows the contestants to start the saw and get it revved up and warmed up. And in these conditions, it's particularly important because it gives the guys an opportunity to maneuver the saw around like you see George Williams doing right there while it's running. and then make sure that when they grab it to start competition, it's going to keep rolling clean. All right, good start by both of these athletes. Lindner looking solid here as he gets his first cookie cut. George Williams with a slight advantage by the looks of it, but no, Lindner gets through there first, and the time is close. Oh my goodness, Williams actually got the cut with 11:91. So that's a personal best for both of these gentlemen. So that's a great start.
Okay, both cuts are good.
Jörg Kutzenbrunner, our judge on stage, confirming that the cuts are good for both of these gentlemen. George Williams with the faster saw that time, but only by a hair. And you can see here, I believe that's the saw from Yannick Lindner, and you can see the body of the motor housing is actually right on the log as he tips that saw forward, so that could have slowed the downward cut ever so slightly. But boy, that was very, very close. 0.6 of a second, in fact, close. So our stage crew will clean up the excess sawdust from out of the way and make sure that our blocks are prepared once again for the next pairing that comes out onto the stage, which will be Guillaume Scheffler from France and Simon Gruter from Switzerland. Little bit of inclement weather here in Hamburg, but that's not deterring our audience or our timber sports athletes from coming out and doing the best job they possibly can. You can see the rain flying by the light here. Just a light rain now, but earlier on it rained pretty heavily and put a bit of a delay on things for the time trials for our Champions Trophy, but we were able to start more or less on time for the Rookie World Championship title. So here are our next pairing. Guillaume Scheffler from France and Simon Gruter from Switzerland. Mr. Scheffler in the blue and Gruter in the red and white. Seems to be a little bit of confusion about placements and whose saw is whose. In this case, I don't think it really matters, considering that the saws are exactly the same. Andy Hall out there, along with Jörg Kutzenbrunner, checking to make sure everything is in order with the logs. As you saw from that first heat, the object is to cut 2 discs off of the block there that are being marked by our judges. If the saw goes outside of the cut before reaching the bottom, so in other words, if you don't cut a complete cookie, meaning if you've got a little bit left off the end or cut off the end of the cookie on the bottom or the top, that counts as a disqualification unless you cut another one. Now, of course, this being a head-to-head timed event, cutting another cookie just takes more time off of what you would want to have as normally a quick time. So keep a close eye on how these guys angle the saw, and they also have a 10-centimeter area within which they have to make these cuts. So this is also very important. They can't just randomly make a thick cut and then another thick cut. It's got to be clean and within the judging lines.
Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saw.
You'll also notice that there's rubber mats on the stage floor there for the guys to put their saws on. One of the reasons for this is because the saws are staying running before the start. They hop around a bit, so they want to make sure they're in the right position. And look at the positioning here of Guillaume Scheffler. Speaking of positions, really deep in his knees, and there you see close to the line on the uppercut by Gruter. But it is Scheffler coming through first. 11:72 is his time. Good time. In fact, faster than our first 2 contestants in heat number 1.
All right. Both cuts are good.
So Scheffler with an 11.72, Gruter with a 12.79, and as far as time is concerned, Scheffler from France has the best time so far in the stock saw, as we see that first cut, and that deep position that he's got really seems to be an advantage for him, as he can control that saw, put plenty of pressure on it, but you also have to control the pressure enough so that you don't stall the saw. Very important. All right, next heat coming up. The future of STIHL Timbersports. And that's what we get to see here at the Rookies World Championship. Now, this doesn't mean, when we say rookies, it doesn't mean that they're brand new to the sport of timber sports, but it does mean that they don't have nearly the experience, say, as some of our other competitors who are in the Champions Trophy. They'll each have a few years behind the axe or behind the saw to make sure that they are capable of competing here at a high level. All right, our next pairing should be coming out shortly. That'll be William Adams from the USA and Ferry Svan from Sweden. Both Sweden and the USA have been producing some very, very skilled, very, very high-level athletes when it comes to STIHL Timber Sports. We've seen in past World Championships and in past Champions Trophies the absolutely incredible level coming out of both of these nations. Now, you would often think, well, Canada, you know, a bunch of lumberjacks playing around with their saws and stuff. No, it ain't so, folks. France, Sweden, the USA, all producing amazing athletes. So here we go.
Time is ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saw. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Great start by Svan. Adams struggling a little bit. Wow, great time by Svan. 11:32. Fantastic. Fastest time yet. William Adams, a 13:21. So 11:32, the time to beat in stock saw so far, and that is Ferry Svan from Sweden. And as I said, some very skilled athletes coming out of that country. Let's take a look at this again. Watch the start, and Adams just has a little bit of a problem figuring out where he wants to put his hands. That gives the advantage time-wise to Svan. Had he had his hands in position right off the bat, it might have been a bit closer. Great final cut by the 21-year-old. By the way, he is the youngest athlete in this competition, Ferry Svan from Sweden. Ferry Svan, who just won that last heat, by the way, is the Nordic champion 2014 and 2016. And based on that result from last year, he gets the nod to compete in the Rookie World Championships here in Hamburg, Germany in 2017. There we see Blake Marsh from Australia, as well as Scott Folks from Great Britain. Blake Marsh has got a great mentor in Brad DeLosa from Australia. Brad DeLosa, a member of the Australian World Championship team from the World Championships last year in Stuttgart. An amazing result. And they defended their team World Championship title. Blake Marsh, first place STIHL Timbersports Rookie Championship 2016. And second place in 2015. So you could say the tendency is upwards.
Time is ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saw. Hands on the wood. Get set.
It's amazing how much these saws bounce all over the place with those powerful motors. Good start by both these guys. Looks like good cookies on both sides for that first cut. Now it's going to come close, but it looks like it's going to be Blake Marsh. Oh no, excuse me. Scott Folks gets that one in 12:26. That's an amazing time and a good heat. And the judges will now check the cookies to make sure that everything is in order with both of these cuts, and it seems to be.
Okay. Both cuts are good.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing.
So, Blake Marsh with a 12:46 and Scott Folks with a 12:26. And we take a quick look back at how this all went. Keep a close eye on how these guys get down onto the saw. It's very important to get that first cut. And actually, if we look at this, Blake Marsh had the advantage. He got on the wood faster, but his body position and his body language was a little bit more upright, not quite as aggressive as Scott Folks, who was right down on top of it. And I was speaking with Spike Milton, the global sports director, earlier, and he says he's been working with Scott Folks quite a lot, and he says he's a very talented young man, so we'll keep a close eye on how he progresses in these Rookie World Championships and into the future, what kind of events we're going to see him participating in and how well he'll do there. Let's take a look at the event standings so far. Well, with a great time to start things off in stock saw, an 11:32, the fastest time so far. That gives him a full 8 points. Ferry Svan on top, so the Swede holds down the lead. Guillaume Schepler, however, 7 points in second place with an 11:72 time in stock saw. George Williams from Canada sitting in third, and Yannick Lindner in fourth place. And then we get into the 12 and 13 second times. Very quick, all in all, considering the rookies. And then we're going to move on to the next discipline. So stock saw was the first one. As I explained off the top here, stock saw is essentially just the saw that you could buy off of the shelf in any steel dealership around the world. And that's what these guys are using. The stage will now get switched around, and we'll be moving on to the standing block chop, and you get a chance to see the tool that these gentlemen are using in the standing block chop. An amazing axe that is highly polished, precision as it gets, and very expensive.
Kaipirin, ja, ziemlich cool. Sonnenlicht auf und ab zur Liegewiese, wo ich für mich und Lisa eine Liege liese. Wir lassen uns gehen und wir lassen uns braten, alles andere kann eine Weile warten.
So at the top of the standings so far, after the first discipline stock saw, we have Ferry Swan, Guillaume Scheffler, and George Williams. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. It's now official. Yannick Lindner in 4th, Scott Folks in 5th, Blake Marsh 6th, Simon Grutter in 7th, and William Adams in 8th. Now, the standings at this point are not fixed. We still have 3 more disciplines to go. Standing block, underhand, and of course, single buck. And the guys at the bottom of the list here, for example, Adams has an opportunity to move up if he does well in some of these other disciplines, and same is said for the guys at the top of the list. If they slow down in some of these other disciplines, if they're not as strong in those disciplines, they can sneak down the list. So it's a gathering of points here over the 4 disciplines. So the stage will be changed up for our next discipline, standing block chop, which is coming up shortly. And again, Ferry Svan from Sweden at the top with a great time in Stocksaw 11:32. He gets the 8 points for being the fastest Sawyer in that first heat.
Ich bin sauer, wenn mir irgendwer mein Fahrrad klaut. Ich bin sauer, wenn mir einer auf die Fresse haut. Ich bin sauer, wenn ein anderer meine Traumfrau kriegt und der Pool mit dieser Frau auf meinem Handtuch liegt. Doch sonst nehme ich alles ziemlich locker hin, weil ich mental ein absoluter Zocker bin. Ich drücke einfach auf den kleinen grünen Knopf und die Sonne geht an in meinem Kopf. Jetzt ist Sommer, egal ob man schwitzt oder friert. Sommer ist, was in deinem Kopf passiert. Es ist Sommer, ab ins Gummiboot.
So it appears as though our running order will more or less be the same for the standing block chop as well. Yannick Lindner, George Williams will be going at it again in the standing block in heat number 1.
Sommer ist, was in deinem Kopf passiert. Es ist Sommer, ab ins Gummiboot. Der Winter hat ab sofort Hausverbot. Es ist Sommer, egal ob man schwitzt oder friert. Sommer ist, was in deinem Kopf passiert. Es ist Sommer, ich hab das klar gemacht. Sommer ist, wenn man trotzdem lacht. Es ist Sommer, egal ob man schwitzt oder friert. Sommer ist, was in deinem Kopf passiert. Es ist Sommer, ich hab das klar gemacht. Sommer ist, wenn man trotzdem lacht. Es ist Sommer, egal ob man schwitzt oder friert. Sommer ist, was in deinem Kopf passiert.
All right, well, we've just had a weather warning here in Hamburg, and as you can see from the picture on screen there, the rain is coming down, but more importantly is that the harbor area has to be conditioned against a lightning strike here, so because our stage has quite a bit of metal around it, we are going to clear it off and make sure that there's nobody in a risky position here if there just happens to be a lightning strike, which is something that we pretty much want to avoid here. So we'll take a bit of a delay while the situation hopefully clarifies itself and we can get back to action here at the Rookie World Championships in Hamburg 2017. And it looks like it's actually going to be canceled based on what I'm seeing on screen here, so that's unfortunate, which means we're probably going to come back tomorrow and run this competition in the afternoon. Hopefully you'll check us out online then. In the meantime, I bid you adieu. Tschüss from Hamburg. We'll see you tomorrow.